Today we're gonna find out how powerful are these banned legacy cards. We're gonna start the conversation with Mana Crypt. So, do I have to even say much about this card? It's like Super Soul Ring. It's 0 mana, and you add the 2 mana. I mean, Soul Ring is as broken as it gets, and yeah, I really don't have anything else to say about this. At the beginning of your upkeep, however, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, Mana Crypt deals 3 damage to you. So on par, this is costing you 1.5 life per turn. Now, of course, you could get a little unlucky. You know, you could get, like, you could lose the flip. You'd have to lose the flip 7 times for this thing to kill you. But more likely, you're going to kill your opponent way before even, I don't know, turn 2. This card, Tommy says, this card should be the most banned from EDH. It's very funny. The EDH players, they don't realize how broken cards like Soul Ring are, and they just, just play it willy-nilly. They can't, you can't take their Soul Ring away from them. You even talk about the banning of Soul Ring. They're like, don't touch my Soul Ring. And you go look at Mana Crypt. This is like outrageously more powerful than Soul Ring well, at least in a broken deck. I mean, if you're playing this in a really fair deck that's gonna go for like millions of turns, it might kill you in the end. So don't be just casting, I don't know, multiple Grizzly Bears off of your Mana Crypt. Burning Paper Sun has said, I've actually killed myself with Mana Crypt. You see, sometimes you can actually lose with this damn thing. You know, if you combine it with Ad Nauseam, you gotta be careful. This is a great card to have in Ad Nauseam because it's not even gonna deal you any damage. Anyway, super broken mana ramp, 0 mana, lets you play just whatever the hell you want on turn 1. So, easily, super, I don't know, do I even use a sound effect? This thing definitely should be on the ban list. Rightfully so. Alright, moving on. We've got... Ooh, we have a really cool one here. I love this card, Mana Drain. Blue instant. Counter target spell. At the beginning of your next main phase, add an amount of colorless equal to that spell's mana value. It's not clear that this card is outrageously powerful. Like, at least with something like Mana Crypt, you can force, like, almost a victory on turn 1 or 2 if you're filling your deck with Mana Crypts. But if you fill your deck with Mana Drains, that's not this. It doesn't have the same feeling. Like, sure, you can counter something and maybe play a Karn the Great Creator for a little bit more conveniently than what you would like to do. But I'd like to remind people that Counterspell barely even sees play in Legacy. Or does it even see play? Does Counterspell see play anymore? Or is it just a dead card? I think some control decks might play like 1 or 2, but not really. Like, if you want a Counterspell, you're always leaning on Force of Negation, Force of Will, maybe Daze, and like the Delver decks. There are not a lot of... I don't think a lot of decks would want to play this card. Mana drained into an Exsanguinate and kill everyone? What the hell is that? Exsanguinate. Exsanguate? Black X. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Like, even that wouldn't even do it. That would not even see Legacy play. Definitely not. Approaching Calamity says, you take my soul, you take my soul, you might as well take my soul. I get it. I get it. Oh, where is it? So Mana Drain. I love counter spells. I have to admit that this is a strong card. It's pretty good. Maybe I'll help play a Karn the Great Creator or something. Or what's the average mana value of cards in Legacy? Like, I don't know, 1.5, 2, 3 maybe. I don't think this would flip the format on its head if they unban this thing. I don't think it's as powerful as many people would like to believe. Well, for anyone suggesting cards, we're moving down the whole thing in alphabetical order, so that way I'm not like flip-flopping around the entire ban list. I think that this is not as powerful as people might think, and while it might deserve to be banned, it is one of the weaker cards on the ban list. You cannot force like a win with this thing. It is like it is great value if you nail anything with this, but you will absolutely not, like, overpower your opponent with a deck full of mana drains. Mana drain, a force of... Oh, that is hot. But, you know, a deck playing with Force of Will probably will also Force of Will back the mana drain. Also, you don't gotta play around them days. It's a great Isochron Scepter target. The Commander players are here. Alright, so mana drain. Okay, moving along on the ban list. Who would like to see mana drain unbanned in Legacy, by the way? I would like to see it unbanned. I would love to see that card unbanned. I wonder what it would do for the win conditions of the control decks. They'd probably play like more Teferi time, or like Hero of Dominaria. Definitely play more Karn the Great Creator. Gotta do something with that mana in some way. Alright, next. Oh god, Mana Vault. You know, on the topic of all this free mana, what would they do with it in Legacy? Like, what would be the ideal deck? If you could play, like, 4 Mana Vault, 4 Mana Crypt, 4 Soul Ring, what is the archetype that, like, breaks the format? We all know this mana is busted. Like, you just can't give competitive players this much mana. I mean, you can't give this much mana to the Commander players. They're breaking decks with this. Skit says, I think at the time of banning it was just proving too much value for the player that played. Having extra mana in Legacy and Vintage can turn the game around. Oh, of course. Storm? Affinity? What would be better, though? I agree. Affinity. Well, would Affinity use this stuff? I don't know. Maybe Storm. Oh, there we go. That Herbert figured it out. Just paradoxical outcome decks. Because that untaps everything, right? Paradoxical outcome. Oh, no, yeah, no, not untap. This is the card, well, virtually untaps. It's like the card that bounces all your artifacts and you draw cards. Paradoxical, there we go. Yeah, this is the return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hands. Draw a card for each card returned to the hand this way. So, like, you float a bunch of mana with your mana rocks, you play Paradoxical Outcome, and you still have a bunch of mana floating. So you draw a bunch of cards off of your Paradoxical Outcome, and then you get to replay all the artifacts, and then hopefully loop and do that a few more times. That's a Storm. That's broken. Affinity. I don't know. Would Affinity even... How could Affinity use these cards quite very well? I don't know. Like, it's mana ramp. You got artifacts on the battlefield. Or maybe there might be some, like, mid-range Affinity build. Because in my mind, Affinity... You want the synergy to be with a bunch of creatures, not with a bunch of mana rocks. But maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. Voltaic Key makes Vault more danger. Oh yeah, we'll get to Time Vault eventually. We'll get there. Slow down! We got a lot of broken cards to look at. We're gonna look at everything. We're looking at everything. Affinity wants more 0 mana artifacts. Yeah, so they would take advantage of... I'm sure they would play... Would they not play Soul Ring? I think they would still play that stuff. Because you still net mana, right? So we have mana. How do we win? Well, just some Storm card. Brain freeze them to death. Dem says, as a broke MTG player, I'm just here to snoop on how crazy Legacy is. No, how Legacy was. So I believe this card got banned around the era of the Illusions Donate deck. This just helped ramp out Illusions of Grandeur, an enchantment where you gain 20 life, and if it has cumulative upkeep, you lose 20 life when it leaves play. And so this just gave you enough mana to play Illusions really quickly and then donate it next turn. I have a foil Brain Freeze. Brain freeze them to death! Go get them! Alright, I think we, this might be a smooth day for looking at these banned cards, banned broken cards. I wonder how Commander players look at this stuff. Do you guys realize how absolutely broken this mana ramp is? Or you just don't care? You're just complete... Like, I have a feeling, thanks to Soul Ring, the Commander players are desensitized to how absolutely broken these cards are. They're like, oh, Mana Vault is fair. Soul Ring is fair. It helps you cast your 6-drops. Otherwise, why would Wizards even print 6-drops? All those, it's all fair. These are regular cards. Wizards made them for a reason. Fireball Fork, who needs a channel? CEDH basically plays like Legacy already. You mean, I think CEDH in some ways is more broken than Legacy. Because you play with this nonsense. We are desensitized, Nikachu, I agree. Yeah. They don't know. They've been on that power for too long. Alright, here's a neat one. Maybe an Affinity deck would play this. I guess this is just another Storm card, right? We got Memory Jar. We got a 5-mana artifact. Oh, by the way, this is completely broken, so super powerful. Memory Jar, 5-mana artifact, tap, sack Memory Jar. Each player exiles all cards from his or her hand face down and draw 7 cards. At the beginning of the next end step, each player discards his or her hand and returns to his or her hand each card he or she exiled this way. So the dealie is this. Memory Jar is like Wheel of Fortune. It's like extra copies of Wheel of Fortune, essentially, but in colorless form. So you basically set your hand aside, you draw a new hand, and the idea is to dump this hand on the battlefield as quickly as possible, and then you're going to get your old hand back. But ideally, I think you just combo off and win. Herbert says, it's not even about fair, it's about using the cards you can't use otherwise without stepping into vintage. So it's like EDH is vintage, essentially, with a restriction on 1 card. Dean Jackman, ask Commander players value assessment of power disregards relevant commentary. Well, where's the relevant commentary? I don't hear you. Did you say something? Yes, Memory Jar is broken beyond in Legacy, Emrakul, and Grizzlebrand. How do you use that card in that way? Where would this go? I've actually honestly never seen a Memory Jar deck. Or is this just going to become another Storm card? You know, we've reached a point where Storm just locks a lot of these cards out of existence. Maybe we got to take, maybe the correct solution is we ban all the Storm cards. And unban everything else. The Locust God? I don't think you're thinking big enough. Or you were just a big fan of the Locust God. It's an okay card. My best guess would be putting Root Wallas and other zero-cost Madness cards into play. No! You would definitely... Yeah, you could do something with Narset. They don't get any... Well, it doesn't matter. Like, the whole deal is if you're going to crack Memory Jar, your opponent ideally is not going to play all the cards from their hand, but you will. That's the way I'm looking at this. You can chain jars and use Megrim as the win con. That's a possibility. The way I'm looking at Memory Jar is, well, especially if you can combine it with all these other cards. The Mana Crypt, whoops, we're going too far here. The Mana Crypts, the Mana Vaults, the Soul Rings. Well, you just dump your hand and then draw much more stuff. And then if you, and again, you'd like combine it with, what's it called? The Paradoxical Outcome. What is this? 1 out of 9 is inherently different than 4 out of 60. Mana Vault is powerful, yes, but the context matters. For more egregious in Legacy where you have 4 copies. Yeah, okay, but I have a counter to that argument. You get to play with, if you play with all the banned cards, then you're making it way more consistent than you would otherwise. So for example, let's say you got to play with 4 Soul Rings in Legacy, but all the other cards were banned. I think you having access to Soul Ring, like you get to play with basically all Moxen except the original Moxen. So you get access to Mana Vault, you get access to Soul Ring, you get access to Mana Crypt, you get access to all the tutors that can find those things. So you have access to a banned card, but every single tutor, which also by the way is banned in Legacy, which makes your whole deck more consistent. So I think in a lot of ways, like if you had access to every banned card in Legacy, it would be insanely consistent. But basically everything is banned in Legacy. And virtually nothing is banned in Commander. So I think Commander decks are incredibly consistent in that regard. Like we don't even have tutors. All the tutors are banned here. Or all the good ones at least. Grim Monolith is actually legal in Legacy. You can still play with that one. That's not going to be on this list. So you can play your Memory Jar. Is Memory Jar, like, Commander playable? I don't know. This card might be a lot worse. Anyway, I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know how broken this card is, but I know it's broken, so we'll just say it deserves to be banned. Crypto Monoxide, thanks so much for the super chat. Shout out to the boy Deathrite Shaman. For that, I'll show you Deathrite Shaman. And it's insanely powerful. It's a very, very powerful card. It ramps, and it actually can kill your opponent. Anyway, we went over that in an earlier episode. But thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, you heard the music. What that means, it's time to thank our sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com, my one-stop shop for all my Magic needs. Oh my god, there's a giant winter sale. 50% off. Hundreds of items on sale. Well, now, you've got my curiosity. Let's shop Magic the Gathering. What do we got here? 50% off. It's crazy. Oh, it's a lot of sealed product. Which will be available for all people in Canada because it's a Canadian store. But for singles, if you want those delicious singles, those are sold worldwide. And don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for an additional 5% off all your purchases. And it supports the channel because it lets them know I sent you. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. If you want to play Legacy without banned cards, you can do that with Mana Traders. You can also play with banned cards if you can just find someone to play, you know, unbanned Legacy with. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_3RS. They got banned cards over there at Mana Traders. You can go get stuff like Black Lotus, the Moxen. You can play Vintage, I guess. It's so warm, it's cold. What? Cold? Okay. Moving on. You know what? The whole discussion on CEDH and Legacy, it makes me think... Has anyone ever, like, put a CEDH deck up versus a Legacy deck before? Has that ever happened? That would be an interesting thing to see. I gotta look that up on YouTube later. And if it doesn't exist, some CEDH player make it happen. And the CEDH player is allowed to play with their commander. Make it happen. All right, what's the next card that we're looking at after Memory Jar? We've got... Oh my goodness. Mental Misstep. Oh, you played CEDH versus Legacy? Who won? And what were the decks? You'd have to give both 40 life? No, you don't. Well, actually, you could give them both. Ooh, maybe I gotta meet somewhere in the between with like 30 life. Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like CEDH might be strong, but we don't know. That's an experiment for another day. Because I think the CEDH decks are really consistent. All right, now getting back on topic. Mental Misstep. A card, again, you can play in Commander, but you cannot play in Legacy. Counter target spell with converted mana cost 1, but here's the deal. You can play with the Phyrexian mana, so you can pay 0 mana to cast this damn card. You can counter other people's mental missteps. This card got banned because everyone played this card. Everyone. Even elves played this card. I'm sure goblins threw it in there as well. The deal was this. Everyone is playing with 1-drops in the deck, and at the very least, you gotta play mental misstep in order to counter someone else's mental misstep that was targeting your 1-drop. So there's these giant mental misstep wars. Everyone played with mental misstep because it's free, right? It's just 0. It's just 2 life. Pay 2 life, counter target 1 mana spells. So yeah, it's pretty versatile. Yeah, the format was just mental misstep. So it was powerful. It's very good at dealing with early game plays and also countering your opponent's mental misstep. So this ended up being like a pretty broken card. Hence why they reprinted it. Actually with some good effect. What was it called? Something Misstep? What was the new card that they made? The fixed version. They made it cost 1 mana. Minor Misstep for 1 blue. See, now not everyone can play this card. Counter target spell with mana value 1 or less. Great card. It's gonna be interesting to see what future holds for this card. The future for this one was gone in a heartbeat. It just died instantly. Snap banned. Snap banned in all formats. Only legal in Commander. You can't counter mana crypts with this. I thought it could counter things 1 or less. It's only 1. Just creates boring constructed environment, and everyone is playing the same card because they can. Yeah, the minor misstep. Minor probe. Yeah, minor probe. Well, they got it at peak. It's even better. You can instant speed peak. Calanteras, did it make burn better since everyone spent 1 life on their mental missteps, or burn worse because their 1-drops were countered? But it get countered for... I don't know. I don't know what it was like back then. I don't think burn was a very playable deck back then. But I could be wrong. In Legacy, I would imagine it made burn better. Because even if it counters the 1-drop, like even if it counters 1-drops, you still spent like 2 life on it. It was an answer to Inquisition and Thoughtseize? Yeah, I guess it could have. No, wait a minute, was it? I think this came out before Rise of the Eldrazi, but you might have been able to hit Thoughtseize. I don't know the order of these sets. Why not make you reveal an island from your hand before you cast it? That's not enough of a cost. Not enough, in my opinion. Alright, so yeah, we agree. This thing's too powerful. I wish it existed, though. I would like to play with this card in Modern. They're just weak. Too weak. And by weak, I mean too strong. Okay. Oh my goodness. This awful card. And people, the arguments against this card are just stupid. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay, we're going to talk for like 10 minutes on about Mind Twist. This black X sorcery. Target player discards X cards at random. And what I find nuts is people consistently in the comments section defend the banning of this card. I don't understand this. Turn 1 Mind Twist is a beating. But okay, but under what circumstance could you like make like a big Mind Twist? So if you go Dark Ritual, Mind Twist, all you're doing is Mind Twisting them for 4. But you lost 3 cards. You lost 3 cards out of that deal. It's just like a mega, like Hymn to Turok in this case. Wiseman quit Magic because of this card? That's ridiculous. Like, if you're going Dark Ritual into this, I think you could go Dark Ritual, I think there are more dangerous things that could happen if you Dark Ritual twice at the beginning of the game. If this is banned, then Thoughtseize should definitely be... There we... Yeah, that's right. And it's random. Who cares? You can hit lands, but it's random. You lost 3 cards you want. They lost 4 cards. They lost 4 cards. It's not that big of a... Like, we have Hymn to Turok already. You lose... It's 1 card for 2. And that ratio is more deadly than 4 cards for 3, in my opinion. And you got to remember, discard is not a very powerful... Like, random discard, in my opinion, is not a very powerful effect. Because you still cannot discard what's off the top of your opponent's deck. If you made a deck where like both players just discard their hands, I don't think that... Well, maybe that is going a little far. Because the Dredge would love that thing. And it's not even powerful. Like, yeah, it could hit lands, or it could hit nothing, or you could hit cards that your opponent wants in the graveyard. Yeah, like Mind Twist plus Goyf. Oh, you mean for the Goyf side? No, I think it would be more interesting you Mind Twist a Goyf player. Land, Goyf. Thanks for making a gigantic Goyf for me. Forced discard is really annoying. Oh, not only that, like, this card is so vulnerable to counterspells. I mean, if they force So Will It, then it's like you discarded 3 cards, they discarded 2. Target yourself. Yeah, you can target yourself. That is a thing. It's random, so you can't even discard your own cards for combos. But some combos might want the cards. Or, well, because I don't think the fact that it's random makes this more powerful. I just don't. In some cases, it's going to work out for you, because they discard cards you can't use. I think Thoughtseize is above and beyond better than this card. Flat out. 1 mana, take exactly what you want, except the lands. You can't even redirect your opponent. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. It's target player. So if they target you, you could misdirect it back to them if you want it. Anyway, it's interesting. I don't know. In my mind, this is not even a debate. This is crystal clear garbage. If you unban this tomorrow, nobody's playing this card. Like, no one's gonna put this in their deck. Someone will probably troll and try to make use out of this, but like, this would see no play whatsoever. It's like the biggest meme on the legacy ban list, in my opinion. But we got like people in the community that are like, you can't unban this. It's too dangerous. You can't do it. Liliana is better than this discard, and no one plays that. Agreed. I completely agree. And like in the late game, this is gonna be crap. Like your opponent's just gonna have like 1 or 2 cards in their hand anyway, so you're not gonna get big value out of this thing. I'd play Mind Drain, or Mind Twist, Mind Drain in Modern. What? Or are you talking about like some sort of combo mana drain into this thing? All right, we got Emerald Boar. Maybe has the combo Mox, Land, Dark Ritual, Twister. Which Mox though? We don't have many Moxes, unless you're talking about Lotus Petal. Or you're talking about Chrome Mox. You're talking about Chrome Mox, but that's too many cards. No, it's not. It's actually 7. Okay, you could do that. You could Mox, Land, Dark Ritual. You still like only twisting them for 4 though. Mind Twisting. This is not the danger card people are making a big deal of. I don't think this card was ever a dangerous card. Okay, we got Brad says, since it's random, it's a feel bad gamble regardless for the player of it or the opponent. No. For the player playing, they knew what they were getting into. If they didn't discard what they wanted to discard, they should have played better cards. I will admit, it's a feel bad card, but it's not powerful. This is not a powerful card at all. I promise you, games will be like, Mind Twist you for 1 million. Pass. And they'll like, let's say they don't even have a land drop for the turn. The opponent will draw a card, pass. Then the player will play land, pass, because they have nothing in hand. Their whole deck is built, and the whole deck is full of garbage, because they're trying to make a big Mind Twist on turn 1, but they have nothing else to do other than that. Then they pass the opponent. They rip a land off the top. They play it. They slam a creature and then pass. I think Mind Twist will play out a lot like how a Mind Twist deck will play out similarly to how 8-Rack plays in Modern. Channel plus Mind Twist onto... Well, Channel's banned. Channel's super banned. When did we even see the last unban in Legacy? I don't know. They've forgotten about... I wouldn't say they've forgotten about the format, but they're only interested... They're only in the business of banning cards now. They don't unban anything anymore. And they never will. They won't unban this thing because of you guys. I'm serious. That's exactly why it's staying here. You guys unanimously think that this is a boogeyman. That this poor guy over here, I don't even know what's going on here. He's got a hat? I always thought that there were 3 arms around his head. Now I realize it's 2 arms and some sort of weird hat. This guy is too dangerous for Legacy. So you guys are going to keep him banned. No way around it. The only way it could be good is with a Dothy Voidwalker out. Even then, it's not... Yeah, I don't even think it would be that good. It's an interesting thing to think about. Yeah, Dothy Voidwalker in such a deck. Dick says, Mind Twist and Mana Severance was a thing in my play group where they would early Mind Twist, not turn 1, but early, and then get rid of all their lands, so every next card hits a discard or kill card. They should ban Lord of Atlantis. Maybe one day they will. In Vintage Cubes, Mind Twist is evil. In Cubes without power, it's fine. Yeah, there is no power in Legacy. Not anymore. It's banned because Twister is a copyrighted board game. Oh god, come on. It's probably owned by Hasbro. Come on, I gotta look that up. Twister board game. Who owns it? Hasbro. See? So they could do whatever they want. They could call... Wizards could make a new card called Twister and put the board and everything over there. And the mat. And some creatures go play Twister. His brain is being twisted, not a hat. Yeah, I get it. Twister's Secret Lair. Twister's Secret Lair, it's just a bunch of, like, discard cards, but with, I don't know, Twister the board game themed. Hasbro got a definitely one, and it's called Twister, yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on, but this Mind Twist card doesn't belong on the ban list, in my opinion. Not a powerful card. Sure, it can discard cards, but there are better cards for discarding from your opponent's hand, in my opinion. But you can let me know in the comments section below. But I think people are attaching too much emotion to this card. Way too much emotion. They just remember all the feel-bad moments. I don't know, maybe that's part of Wizards' design philosophy with banning unbanning cards. But if they cared about feel-bad moments, they would have banned Blood Moon a million years ago. All right, next we got a Storm card, Mind's Desire. Blue, 4 generic, sorcery, shuffle your library, then exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost and as Storm. Yeah, it's probably broken. I don't know how they cast this card. I don't know, maybe with mana vaults and I guess just rituals. And how do they play this card? I guess rituals, mana, lotus petals and stuff like that. Lucas says Twister, but in Magic. Put a red card in your graveyard. Interesting. There should be more Magic bingo, now that I think of it. Every tournament you have a bingo card. Your opponent will sign the square to verify that it actually happened. Yeah, Storm at danger, as usual. It just goes to show how stupid Storm was. All these cards on the ban list partially because of Storm, and they are Storm. We should ask Tony Scapone if Mind's Desire would be a good unban or not. I don't know who that is. Emerald Boar says, mana spells, draw, mana spells, desire, mana spells plus draw, mana spells, and desire. Oh, it's that easy, is it? John, thank you very much for the super chat. Have you ever done a stream on house rules? Yeah, we did actually. We did it Rule Zeros. We did one on Rules. We could do another one day. We had a great one on Rule Zeros. And what I found out is everyone hates Infect, and they want to increase the Infect count to like 15 or 20. That's the biggest takeaway I had from that show. Infect is Infect even broken in Commander? Is that even a CEDH deck? Maybe it is. I doubt it, though. Tony Scapone is a Legacy Storm player known for Gamble Storm. Ah. With Tendrils, you need 9 Storm to win. With this, you can probably win in Storm with like 4. Oh, I see. Oh, so it's like, it's an alternative to Tendrils of Agony, where this is like very likely to win anyway. Okay, I got it. Yeah, just look up Rule 0 on my channel. You'll find it. The strong part of Infect is no amount of healing removes the counter. Well, that's the point! You need the antidote, which doesn't exist. Infect just hits people's feels, yeah. The feel, that's got to be a good show. Most feel-bad moments in Magic the Gathering. When my opponent plays their 4th land drop and when my control opponent plays their 4th land drop and immediately taps all lands, that's my feel-bad moment. Manamorphose, Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, Yawg Will, Yawgmoth's Will. Is that even legal? And Tendrils for everyone? I don't think that's legal in Legacy. It feels terrible when you miss with a big Mind's Desire. Yeah, top 10 feel bad moments when you miss big with Mind's Desire, when you whiff with this damn thing. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, I'm gonna agree that this card is very powerful. If you cast it, like, you can't even, I mean, you need like Flusterstorm to counter everything, right? Otherwise, like, even if you try to counter Mind's Desire, all the other ones are gonna resolve. You're gonna draw a bazillion cards. Draw cards. Quote unquote draw cards. Really exiling the cards. Alright, well, oh my goodness. This next card is a doozy. It's a Mishra's Workshop. I can't even believe that this is completely legal in Vintage. Check this out. It's not even restricted in Vintage. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's Black Lotus on a land! Add 3 mana to your mana pool. Spend this mana, only cast artifact spells. You get to do this every turn. This is insane. This card is insane to me. And it's completely legal in Commander as well. Stay banned, Workshop. This is... I don't understand the existence of this card. Workshop isn't too bad. Well, what, in your Merfolk deck? Vintage likes their artifacts too. Oh yeah, they love their artifacts. It's the only place you get to play them anymore. It's not even legendary. You can chain these things together over and over again. They banned did they ban Lattice in... Well, they banned Lattice in Modern. They certainly didn't ban Lattice in Vintage. It might be restricted, though. No, there's no way that's restricted in Vintage. It's just Vintage's Brainstorm? Is it? I mean, I guess so. Yeah, it's the card that they let run free the most. It should be restricted in Vintage. So many other artifacts have just been restricted just to keep the Shops deck from being super OP. What is wrong with them? Someone restrict this card so that they can sell all the other copies. Everyone who has Workshop can sell their 3 other copies. Artifact spells, not even compatible with spending activated or triggered abilities. Now that's true. I tried to build a lot of Mishra's Workshop decks in Vintage Cube, and there is that awkward... It is awkward in that I cannot activate abilities with this card. It's only used to cast artifact spells. That's still damn good, though. Probably sell all 4 because it's... No, 1 is better than 0. Never bring this to Legacy. Play Metalworker like an honest man if you want the artifacts. You see the Alpha Investments video where he opened one last week? No, I didn't. Spoiler alert! It's okay. I don't mind spoilers. I'm that type of person that you could tell me the plot, what happened, the cliffhanger of a movie, and I won't be bothered. In fact, I might be even more interested in the movie. The posh Lotus Field? Oh yeah, that's true, actually. This is like the Lotus Field of Legacy. And Vintage. Sorry, of Vintage. But nobody would buy them since there are like 8 competitive Vintage players. Well, I guess the other 8 players might buy them. This would be great in mirrors and other low-cost artifact decks. Yeah. Go play your artifact deck. Doubling Cube makes usable mana from Workshop. Oh, does it? Okay, we got Energizer. Yeah, but you can't just turn 1 Mishra's Chromatic Lantern or something else so that it produces mana. Yeah, you can do that. You can play artifacts that will add mana for activated abilities. But it's still awkward that Mishra's Workshop itself will not activate abilities. Will cast tons of stuff. He was dead the whole time. In the same way about movies, I want to know a rough outline going in so I can know if it's even, or if I even want to see it. All right, see, I'm not the only weirdo out there. I'm the same way about movie spoilers. If it's really that good, I'll still see it. Yeah. There are very few movies where knowing like some big plot twist is like really critical to enjoying the movie. Usually doesn't matter all that much. More Magic 30 instead of putting it in the dump and we can all play Vintage someday. Yeah, I heard that news. Doubling Cube works with Jeweled Lotus in Legacy 2? The hell is Doubling Cube? Double the amount of each type of mana in your mana pool. Oh, what? And that makes it usable? That's the deal? Yeah, so there are 3 weirdos in the world. That's correct. All right, we all agree. Mishra's Workshop. You can be banned and stay banned for eternity. You're just gonna ramp into stupid artifacts for forever. All right, okay, this is all gonna be all in one Encompass thing. Because this is the greatest. Is this the greatest cycle of all time? The mock cycle? This has got to be the greatest cycle of all time. Let's look at an unlimited one. Add 1 blue mana to your mana pool. Tapping this artifact can be played as an interrupt. These days, it's now just like tap out of blue. All right, the Moxen. And as we know, the Moxen is danger. It's essentially a land drop for free. That's just basically what it is. You get to play land drops for nothing. Here's a really good question, though. What is more broken, Mox Sapphire or Mana Crypt? Because Mana Crypt adds 2 mana for 0. It's a really good question. OG duels versus Mox is a question. No, I don't. I think the Moxen are like way better. It's not that. I don't, like if you have a deck full of dual lands and I have a deck full of Moxen, who's gonna win? Who's your daddy? The Moxen win. Why not, instead of banning cards, we just ban people who complain about cards needing to be banned? It's genius. You complain, you're banned. That sounds like a terrible format. Magic would die probably under those rules. We need people complaining to balance formats out. Yeah, it breaks the basic tempo of Magic. Not that the Commander players can care, because they're always breaking the basic tempo of Magic. They look at 6 drops and 5 drops like they're 2 drops. Bread says, without help, you can only put 1 duel on the battlefield a turn. You can put all the Moxen on the battlefield a turn. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I think this might be the most powerful cycle of all cycles. Okay, let's look at them all. Mox, Emerald. And which one's the best one? Okay, I'm assuming Mox Sapphire is the best one, but it might not. Mox Emerald might be the crappiest. Only because, like, green already ramps a lot. Naturally. It would be like boxing. Pick and choose an opponent. Says Tommy. Banned. All the Moxen are banned. I mean, there's no discussion here. The Moxen are grossly, disgustingly broken. Mox Emerald is the worst? Is there a reason for this? Okay, Mox Emerald is the best. Sapphire. Okay, what is your tier list? Put them in. Okay, mine, I think, is like, I think I start off at Sapphire. Then I think I go with Jet. I think then after I might go Mox Ruby. Then I think I go Mox Pearl. I might be totally wrong here, though. And then go Mox Emerald. But maybe I should give more, like, just for the sake of Commander players and how important green is in that format, that green should be higher up. All right, we got Lord Magic says Sapphire, Jet, Ruby, Emerald, Pearl. We got Sapphire, Jet, Ruby, Pearl, Emerald. We got the Sapphire, Ruby, Jet, Pearl, Emerald. So we seem to be sort of in the agreement that the blue is at the top. Blue, white, green, black, red. Ooh, Michael breaking away. So we all think that blue is the best. Black, blue, red, white, green. Blue, red, white, black, green. Blue. No, just Wing of Shoe is just blue. Blue is the best. Oh, wait, yeah, actually, Lord Magicus makes a good point. Pearl has moved up a fair bit because of initiative. True story. sounds like we're listing Pokemon games. It'd be funny if YouTube analyzes this video and then says the game being talked about is like, I don't know, Pokemon Scarlet or something. Even as a Commander player, green is the worst. I agree with your list, other than I might move Pearl up. Yeah, okay, so I think unanimously we believe blue's the best, then black, red, somewhere in the mix there at the top, and then green and white at the bottom. White, you're just weak. Weak for these. Well, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't say that anymore. Initiative has changed the game. Mono white all of a sudden is a mono white stompy deck. All right, these cards are broken. Thank you very much, everyone, for your list. And if you have any disagreements, you can always give us your list in the comment section below. Also, give me reasons why maybe white should be up the ladder more because of initiative. All right, next up, we've got the Tutors, or at least one. See, this is what this is partially why Commander is more broken than Legacy, in my opinion. Now I'm not certain about that, but the consistency with some of the most broken cards for like almost no mana, like 1 mana, search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal that card, shuffle your library, put a card on top. You kidding me? Bruce is like diamond #1 for the Pokemon games. I want to play Pokemon Mox Sapphire, but it's so exciting. That's comment of the day. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal that card, shuffle your library, then put that card on top. Man, I miss a world where we could play with these cards. I like playing with tutors, to be honest. 1 mana, put like basically my combo card on top of my library. I own so many mystical tutors as a Commander player. The main reason Commander might be more broken is the Commander. Commanders are basically just companions on steroids. That's true too. That is true. There's some broken Commanders out there. But hey, don't forget that in Legacy you can still play with Commanders too. They've got, I don't even know if they have Lurrus anymore. You know what? They don't have any good Commanders. They have maybe Gyruda. I don't remember what's legal in Legacy. I don't think it would be too bad, honestly. What? You lost your damn mind? Do you have any idea how more consistent like combo decks would be with Mystical Tutor? Just basically make sure you have enough lands, and you just Mystical Tutor, brainstorm it right into your hand. You'll 1-2 punch, essentially, for combo decks. I remember when this stupid card came out in Mirage, and it was stupid then, and it's stupid now. Yo, Little Ted says, search for the answer to the current threat. That's true, too. You can also look for answers to anything that's in front of you. I play Mystical Tutor in almost every blue EDH deck. What EDH deck do you not play it in? The Merfolk deck, perhaps, that doesn't have instant or sorcery cards? Yet Personal Tutor is perfectly... Is it? Oh no, it's only sorceries. Search your library for a sorcery card, reveal it, shuffle your library, then put that card on top. But true story! Has Legacy forgot this card exists? That is a burden for mana though. To like being able to hold up your mana and do whatever you want and get instants and sorceries at instant speed, big deal. I bet if you know, this is a really good point. I think this card also looks good. This card looks very, very, very good. It does limit a lot of things you can get. Like you can't get counter magic, for example, to protect a combo that you might already have in your hand. You can only find more combo pieces. Yeah, let's Mystical Tutor get counter spells. There's no sorcery speed counter spells out there. Omeek says tutors are super annoying. If they're in a deck you're given to a newer player, get ready for them to read the whole deck every time. Oh my god! I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. Yeah, Legacy never forgets. Personal is also a sorcery. Sorcery, I mean, yeah, sorcery speed is worth, but it's still 1 mana. I guess, okay, you know what? There is a big problem with this card in that your opponent will see it coming. Like, so you Personal Tutor on your turn, you have to reveal the sorcery. Then your opponent is like, okay, well, I know what I'm up against here. And maybe some decks even have the ability to mill the top card of your library off. Whereas Mystical Tutor, you have to do it, it's done at instant speed, and for your information, fetch lands are land tutors. They are, which makes them broken. But we don't mind those broken cards. Well, Merchant Scroll is 2 mana and also sorcery speed, right? Like, this is worlds worse. Very, very fair card. Very fair card. Are all the Mirage tutors banned? No, actually. I think the enchantment one is still good. Worldly Tutor. Okay, that one's legal. That one's legal in Legacy. And I think the enchantment... And Gamble? Oh, no. I think Gamble didn't exist. So the Worldly Tutor is okay. JWJ, thanks so much for the super chat. I'm a casual player that plays kitchen table magic with friends, and my buddy has Tolarian Academy in his artifact deck. I cry when he draws it. But it's banned! Do you guys not even realize that? Oh, it's just kitchen table magic. Okay, whatever. Get to do whatever you want. Which means you just, I don't know, unload Moxen on them. You play with a bunch of broken cards. There's tons of broken cards that cost no money. Like Channel's not expensive. Go play a Channel deck. Teach them a lesson. Oh, it's Idyllic Tutor? Idyllic Tutor. I don't know the name of the artifact one. Sorry, the enchantment one. No, there's a white one that gets enchantments. Enlightened, that's what it is. Enlightened Tutor. Enlightened Tutor. I think it's just the black and blue one because those are the most relevant ones. Because these just go get like artifacts, enchantments. No one cares. No one cares. But if you talk about instances, like I guess what it comes down to is the most powerful cards in Legacy are instants, sorceries, and those vampiric tutors. They can find anything, anything at all. Did I see Protein Hulk? Or did you say No, I didn't say anything. But you can, yeah, punish them. Punish them with broken cards. Flash Hulk them out. It's sad when kitchen table magic descends into an arms race. I don't mind. I'm all game. I'm waiting for them to do something like that. Oh, you want to play by those rules? That's totally fair by me. You want to play this game? I'll show you how it's played. That's how I am. You just give me the go-ahead. You just say the magical words. Tommy says, I do appreciate that Wizards of the Coast stuck with things like calling search cards wishes and tutors consistently. Right, things that are appreciated. There are just some things tutors can't search. For everything else, there's gamble. No, I think Vampiric Tutor can find anything. Gamble is powerful, but the most risky. Yeah, Gamble is the most risky. Well, no, the best tutor is Vampiric Tutor. Oh no, I don't want to get. We're gonna get there eventually. We're not gonna skip. I'm not skipping cards. All right, Mystical Tutor. Easily, super powerful. Can force wins. Oh my goodness. We're hitting. This is a Grandmaster of cards. We got Necropotence. A card that actually I don't understand. You know, I'm not gonna say anything, but I don't even understand why this card is legal in Commander. Some people will say, well, you don't get the cards immediate. Who cares? Who cares? Black, black, black enchantment. Skip your draw step. Means nothing. If you would discard a card from your hand, remove that card from the game instead. It's probably a feature, not a bug. Pay 1 life. Remove the top card of your library from the game face down. At the end of your turn, put that card into your hand. You just put like whatever the hell you want in your hand. Put 20 cards in your hand. And then, I mean, yeah, you're going to have to discard to hand size or exile to hand size. But, you know, it's a small price to pay. And in Commander, you could have 40 life. Now, you don't get 40 life in Legacy. You only get 20. But, like, that doesn't matter. Dark Ritual into Necropotence is the most busted thing you probably can do. This would be, I don't know, would this be a Storm player's wet dream? Maybe not. What would be the best deck for this? Art and foil? Oh yeah, it's great. Leave it dead. Is it Necropotence or Necropotence? What the hell? No, there's no pro in there. Necropotence. Black, black, black. Ship it. Yeah, the Devotion players love it. If it's up to you, what would you change Necro's mana cost to? 8? Maybe 8? Like, it's gotta be high. Like, it's gotta be, like, really out of range. Like, insanely out of range. Oh, yeah, maybe it's another Doomsday card, for sure. What happened to Doomsday? I thought it was the best deck in Legacy, and I was looking at the metagame, and it, like, fell off the map. Best deck is Ad Nauseam Tendrils Storm for this deck, but you can't combo immediately. Or maybe you can. Dark Ritual. But you can't play any of the artifacts that you draw. You'd have to wait till next turn. I guess what you could do is draw 7 cards, like a bunch of cards, then next turn play all your mana, then draw like another 20, and then combo off on your turn. I guess that could happen. That's a thing. Necropotence is Shieldred's Wet. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness! You draw a card, you just gain 2. Draw a card, gain 2 life. Draw more cards. Yeah, you could just draw your entire deck. I didn't even think about that. Oh no, but you're not drawing cards. Sorry, you don't draw cards. No, that doesn't work. So it's like pay 1 life, remove the top card of your library from the game face down. At the end of turn, you just put it into your hand. So you actually don't technically draw cards. If you do draw any cards somewhere, I mean, I guess you could brainstorm or something, draw 3 cards, gain 6 life, and then use that life for Necropotence, but Necropotence itself will not gain you life with Shield Red. Pucks is like completely fair and balanced. It's hilarious how legal this was in Legacy for a very, or I should say extended, for a very long time. Never watch Magic content or this channel, but this stream was in my recommend. Welcome! I hope I left a good impression for you. If I didn't, then enjoy the rest of the internet. Or the YouTube recommended streams. Doomsday is like tier 2 to 3. It's just not even the best Thassa combo deck at the moment. Oh, that's sad. Wing of Shu, thanks so much for the super chat. Extort / life gain would love Necropotence. They would. It doesn't sound like the most broken thing you could do. Actually, you won't have to discard hand size until next turn since you get them at end of turn. No, you don't. So, like, it says, pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library face down, put that card into your hand at the beginning of your next end step. So people get that confused. You reach an end step, but that doesn't mean the very end of your turn. So you reach the beginning of the end step, you put cards in your hand, but it's not the end of the turn yet. And then you reach the end of the end step, whereas there's a discard, I think it's called discard phase, and then you discard the cards. I know, it's weird, like there's a lot of, so you actually have to read cards very clearly, because sometimes they say at end of turn, and sometimes they say at the beginning of the end step. So it's like at the beginning of the end of the turn. What a stupid game this is. The rules on top of the, oh, is that the cleanup step? That's when it happens? That's when we clean it up. We clean it up. You know, actually, I learned something here. I didn't know the discarding happened at the cleanup step. Because it's not really relevant for me to know. Stuff you have to be a judge to understand. Like watching British people on Twitch watching football. I mean soccer. You mean football. Happy Tuesday. Yawgmoth's bargain Necropotence, but with higher CMC. Anyway, okay, so this card's like insanely broken. We all know. The Skull Man. You shouldn't come back. And I still don't understand. Okay, whatever. Commander players can do whatever they want. Do whatever they want. They're having fun. I will give you this. Necropotence is a fun card. Because who doesn't like drawing a bazillion cards for nothing? I should play a blue-black Merfolk just so I can play Necropotence. That's the deal. That's what I've been doing wrong all this time. Oath of Druids. I don't even remember why this card, like it's a combo card. So it's a green 1 generic enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than he or she does and is his or her opponent. The first player may reveal cards on the top of their library until he or she reveals a creature card. If he or she does, the player puts that card onto the battlefield and all other cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. I'm curious, is this still broken? Like, I know the opponents will, I mean, the Oath of Druids player will play things like Forbidden Orchard. I'm just curious if this would still hold the test of time. And I guess that you go get, what's the win condition now? Still the Grizzlebrand? Use Forbidden Orchard. Yeah, I understand. Like, that's the classic combo here. But they could even kill this damn thing. When Oath is legal, creature decks are squeezed out of the format. They should just counter it. That's the solution. You counter. That's a good point, though. Yeah, I play one Merfolk. They play Oath of Druids. I'm like, ugh! And it's so hard to interact with this thing. Dylan says, I think Oath is currently king of a staple in Vintage, so it's probably broken. All right. Good, I agree. Might be Atraxa now? Is it? Which Atraxa? Everyone's saying Atraxa is the new win condition. Grizzlebrand can draw your deck, for crying out loud. How is that not still the de facto win condition? Biovisionary ×3. What the hell? Oh, the Grand Unifier? Okay, let's look at the new Atraxa. Alright, this is the new win condition for everything. 7/7, Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This card sucks! This card sucks. How is this? Is not better than Grizzlebrand. Grizzlebrand can draw 14 cards and you put them all into your hand. And it also has Flying and Lifelink. And it basically has Death Touch because everything's gonna die whenever it blocks it. This is garbage. Atraxa pitches to force a will. Grizzlebrand doesn't. That's this most trolly way of buffing up Atraxa. Anyway, there's no way this is better than Grizzlebrand in any deck. Not a chance. You're not gonna convince me. Looking at the new Atraxa in a Banned Legacy Cards video, a bad omen. I guess so. It's true though. It's pitch bait. Whatever. No, it's not necessary. Okay, Oath of Druids we say is too powerful. And what's crazy, we still have tons more cards to look at on this list, so this is not gonna be the end of this banned Legacy Powerful Cards video series. So anyway, thanks everyone for being here this morning. As usual, if you're new to the show, we do this every Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks everyone for your support. Everyone who's a member of the channel, support is a patron on Patreon, but also donates with super chats. The super chats, I love them. You keep making super chats. I'll keep being here this morning. But most importantly, thank you for everyone who shows up in the morning, because without you guys, we don't have such a good conversation. We don't have so much fun. So thank you so much for PM, Lord Magicus, Levy, Crowcore, people like Zick and some pleb, you little Teddy, Michael, James, Molly Swag, Tommy, Toilet Duck, Poxy, Michael. Because without all you guys, I've got no show. You guys are the show. So as usual, keep brewing up them coffees. We'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next